We got 6 weeks left, and the playoff races are heating up with some unlikely teams on the outside looking in. The Texans have won 3 straight to stay in the playoff hunt, with the Chiefs and Lions getting huge comeback wins on Sunday to stay alive. And so, Canty, here we are, week 13, right? In the NFL coming up. Who are the scariest teams right now currently in the playoff hunt?
It's the teams in Texas. It's the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. I'll start with the Texans first. They got guys up front that can hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Will Anderson Jr. is flying under the radar. I know a lot of people are paying attention to what Myles Garrett is doing, what Brian Burns with the New York Giants are doing. Get a load of Will Anderson Jr., because Josh Allen did on Thursday Night Football. It didn't go so well for him. Josh Allen sacked a career high 8 times.
Yep.
It was the 3rd time in his career where he was held to no touchdowns passing or rushing and having multiple turnovers. They made him look very, very human, and that's the reigning defending MVP. They've won 3 straight games with backup quarterback Davis Mills. 2 of those victories against teams that are currently in the playoff picture right now. And it would have been 5 straight games had their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, not got knocked out in the first quarter against the Denver Broncos, and that was a 3-point game that went in Denver's favor. So there's a lot to like with the Houston Texans. If they get C.J. Stroud back with this upcoming game, Week 13 against the Indianapolis Colts, you need to look out, because the Texans are the team that nobody wants to play in the AFC. The NFC, it's really simple for me with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they're going to get to the playoffs, but they're going to play spoiler for a lot of teams. And as Mel Kiper always says, if you can't beat them, you can't block them. Well, the Dallas Cowboys, now that they got Quinnen Williams, they're hard to block. And, of course, with that offensive line, with all those first-round draft picks named Tyler, they can block people up. And so the Dallas Cowboys now, that offense has balance. Dak Prescott has a little bit more margin for error because you got a defense that can get some stops. And we saw what that looks like in Week 12 against the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans are teams that are going to give opponents tough times down the stretch.
Stephen A?
I'm going to go with CC on this in terms of the Houston Texans. I haven't seen a defense like that in a long time. The way those brothers can get at the quarterback. I mean, Will Anderson is something special. These brothers are no joke. This defense is ferocious. They've got speed, they hit, they're rough riders, they're very physical, they come after you, and you get the impression, I'm not speaking in a literal sense, fellas, but you get the impression that just give them 14 points, they got you. They got you. You ain't getting anything this way. I mean, they come at you like that. And you understand they're doing this without C.J. Stroud. So C.J. Stroud comes back and he shows you anything relevant or close to the potential he showed you a couple of years ago or so, okay? Houston could be deadly. I view them as my sleeper. You do not want to play this team, not that defense. They are something to behold. I really believe that.
The only team I would say, when you talk about the Texans, and I think their defense is legit, even with Stroud coming back, I would say probably I would lean towards the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs, you know, the scariest team that's in the hunt, that's outside of it right now. I mean, the Kansas, they've been to a Super Bowl, 7 times, whatever or AFC Championship 7 times in a row, whatever this crazy number is. They whipped the Colts. Like I did not expect that kind of game to go down that way. They played physical. Hunt got involved. It feels like as the year progresses, Andy Reid gets back to that Chiefs conversation of running the football first and then taking it through Mahomes. And their defense, they locked up Jonathan Taylor. And so I get that they've been sporadic this season, and they haven't won many one-score games. But if you're going to tell me who's scary, and you got to dial up the team that just always finds a way with Mahomes back there, they're scary to me as well.
Kansas City, what a great segue. We talked earlier about the Cowboys. Cowboys and Kansas City are going to face off against one another on Thanksgiving Day. And so was it a must win for the Cowboys? Everyone here thought maybe not. They just got to win one of their next 2. But now for Kansas City on the flip side, is Thursday a must win against Dallas? What do you think, Casey?
No, it's not a must win against Dallas. It's more of a must win for them the week after that against the Houston Texans, which starts a streak of 5 straight.
Not to the board.
You're going to the board.
Yeah, I got to go to the board. So this Dallas Cowboys game, it's great for ratings. Not necessarily a gotta have it for the Kansas City Chiefs. This one right here is the one you got circled, because the Kansas City Chiefs are looking up at the Houston Texans when it comes to playoff standings. If they're able to get that win, that's going to be a big one. The Chargers game as well, that's another one. The Chargers beat them the first game of the season down there in Brazil.
So win or loss against the Chargers?
I'm going to give them a win against the Chargers.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to give them a win against the Tennessee Titans. What's understood ain't got to be said. This one becomes interesting against the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos got the best of them in Mile High. The Denver Broncos have played them really well the last few seasons. I'm going to actually give that game to the Denver Broncos, and then I'll give them the win against the Las Vegas Raiders. So that becomes the key to me. 10-7, it's right on the fringe of whether or not it gets them in. They're contending with teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, like the LA Chargers, like the Buffalo Bills for those 3 playoff spots in the wild card. They're not going to be able to catch up with the Broncos in the division. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs have a path to get in, but they have no margin for error, and likely they're going to need some help.
So if they lose to the Cowboys and they lose to the Broncos, like Cece just said, that would give them a 66% chance to get in. Go ahead, Stephen A.
I believe they're beating the Cowboys. I believe they lose to the Texans, and then they run the table and win the rest of their games.
Okay, so if they do that, that would give them a 98% chance to make the playoffs at 11-6. Okay?
Yes, I agree. Listen, I think when you're talking about the Cowboys, this is much more of a momentum thing for the Chiefs, in my opinion, is a must-win.
Yeah.
Like them putting back-to-back wins against the Colts and the Cowboys would make a statement, right? That we're back. They put everybody on notice. I said this before the Colts played the Chiefs. Everybody in the AFC was rooting for the Colts to win that game in Kansas City. And unfortunately, they didn't get it done. You've kind of awakened the beast there in Kansas City. And I mean that more specifically to like the style of play. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. 33 first downs to 10. You held your opponent to 4 straight 3-and-outs at the end of this game. That is work, y'all. Like that, and you're talking about what we considered one of the best and most explosive offenses in football going into that game. Spags, Andy Reid, Nagy, they did a great job of making sure, and they only won. They won in overtime. Like this is, the Colts had an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter and couldn't close it out.
Jeff, that's the part that's hard for me to digest when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. You gave up the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter driving into the red zone.
Yeah.
Fumble by Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
The Colts had the ball plus a double-digit lead in Arrowhead.
Yep.
To me, that was as much about the Colts' collapse as it is about the Kansas City Chiefs being able to awaken and go on a deep playoff run like we're accustomed to being able to see them. Yeah. This team has some real flaws. And I think that we have to acknowledge that. Like the running game, even though it was better against the Indianapolis Colts, it's been uneven throughout the course of this season. Patrick Mahomes has had turnovers that have been uncharacteristic, as we've been seeing in recent games in the red zone. Those things can't happen. So, again, I don't want to dismiss a team that has championship DNA, but I also can't dismiss the questions that they've posed to us throughout the course of the season in the body of work through 11 games.
Okay, the good news is they'll play the Cowboys, win or lose, on Thursday, and then they have a little extra time to prepare for the Texans. We know how Andy Reid does usually with extra time, although this year that wasn't necessarily the case. Coming up, the Steelers and Bills meet Sunday as both are fighting to get into the playoffs. Which of these two teams has been the bigger letdown? Also, this is next.
Yeah!